Hey friends, welcome back to This Homemade Life. My name is Courtney and it is time to see what we had for dinner. If you are looking for recipe ideas or cooking motivation, this is the right place. I put out these What's for Dinner videos every single Sunday, plus a couple of Fridays a month. I do a Fun Food Friday, so make sure you are subscribed and smash that like button. The first recipe of the week is a stovetop coconut milk chicken. Never made this before, but I will definitely make it again. If you like things like butter chicken or tikka masala, this is for you. You need diced tomatoes, coconut milk, Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, cumin, paprika, garlic, onion, olive oil, and then it calls for like hot sauce, sriracha, something like that. I've got that chili garlic crunch stuff. It is so good. It brings so much more flavor. If you've got that, use it. If not, go with sambal, go with sriracha, whatever you have. We're going to start off by seasoning our chicken. I did have chicken tenders, so I had to pull that little white thing out of the middle. I used the fork trick. Those are annoying, aren't they? Anyway, they're cheaper than a chicken breast, which is what the recipe called for, so I just went with it. Anyway, once the chicken is nicely seasoned on both sides, go ahead and pop over to your stovetop, heat up a skillet with a little bit of oil in it, and put your chicken in and let's cook it. You don't have to cook it all the way through. We're just looking to develop some really beautiful color on the outside, kind of like that. See? Nice color. We're going to finish cooking this in the coconut milk sauce later, so if it's mostly cooked but not all the way done, no big deal. We'll finish it when it simmers later on the stovetop. Once you flipped it over, just let it cook a few more minutes on the other side and then go ahead and pull it off and set it off to the side so it could just rest while we do everything else. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of oil back to the skillet. And then while the chicken was cooking, I diced up my onion. There it is. We're going to pour it in the pan and we're going to go ahead and saute that for like 3, maybe 4 minutes. You know, it's diced pretty small, so it won't take long to get it to that soft, almost translucent point, which is what we want to do. Once it is there, we're going to go ahead and add in our diced garlic that I also sliced up while the chicken was cooking. I am using fresh garlic today because I had some in my fridge. I know I don't always do that, but I had it and I want to use it. We're only going to cook that for 1 minute or so because we do not want to burn it. Garlic burns so easily, but you got to have it because that flavor is just irreplaceable. Once it has had a minute to heat through, we're going to go ahead and toss in our diced tomatoes. I did go ahead and try to drain the liquid out, which is not an easy feat. A lot of it really wanted to stay in the can, and that's okay. I just cooked it a few minutes before I added in the coconut milk so the water would kind of simmer out. Not a big deal. And then you add in your whole can of coconut milk with the fat and everything that's on top. That's the creamy, delicious part that you want. Then once you've got all of that out of the can and in the skillet, stir it all together. And we're going to simmer this. We're also going to add in some of that chili garlic crunch. I really almost forgot that stuff. It was the very last thing, but you want to add some in, add your sambal, whatever you want. I'm doing a heaping tablespoon of this, and I probably could have done more. I'm always a little nervous when I make this because I don't want to scare anybody in my house away and make it too spicy. So I just added a heaping tablespoon, stirred it in, but if you like super spicy, add more, add some red pepper flakes. You know, just get creative with it. We're going to go ahead and toss our chicken back in there. I don't know why I say toss. I'm gently placing it in the skillet. Don't toss it. The liquid is hot. It will burn. Just gently place it back in there, and then we're going to simmer this for a few minutes to let the sauce thicken up. The chicken can finish cooking. All the flavors are going to meld together, and you've got dinner. All right, friends, I am going to go ahead and get some meat marinating for tomorrow. I'm actually doing 2 types of meat. First, we're going to do this recipe for the beef. It's not necessarily a Greek recipe, but it looks like a yummy recipe. And yeah, that'll work for me. I'm not doing kebabs. We're doing steaks, and I will thin slice them when we serve them tomorrow with some pita bread and hummus and some other dips and stuff. I'm also going to do this chicken souvlaki. I'm going to marinate that as well, but we're going to start with the beef. So for this recipe, we need 1/2 cup of olive oil. I think that's about all I have in here. It's a lot of olive oil. You know, I think that'll be good. I only did probably like maybe 1/3 cup. 1/2 cup seems like so much. All right, 1/3 cup of soy sauce. Oh my God. Then it needs 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I'm just using this right here. You can always use real lemons. Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I will just keep this stuff on hand because it stays good for so long. Especially for marinades and stuff, I find that this is just as easy to work with as anything else. All right, we need 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. I've got this one. Okay, that's about 1/4 cup. I'm going to add in some garlic powder. It calls for a tablespoon. I'm just going to eyeball it. Of course, you could always put in minced garlic. Just be careful that there's no garlic on the meat when you go to grill it, because it will burn and it will get bitter, and that's not going to be good. All right, it calls for a dash of hot sauce, but we love this stuff in my house, so I'm just going to do a big old spoonful of this. That stuff is so good, so good. All right, we need a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, which I do have. That looks about right. And then finally some salt and pepper. I'm going to skip the salt because of the soy sauce, but I will add some pepper just because I like the taste. All right, I'm going to mix this up in the bag, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in my sirloin steaks. I just have, if you watch my grocery haul, I bought 1 pack of sirloin steaks, and there wasn't as much in there as I ordered. So I actually have a pack that was in my freezer. I'll show you guys, and we'll get it marinating. All right, I have just 2 sirloin steaks. These guys were in my deep freeze. They're still slightly frozen, but that's okay because I'm actually going to marinate this overnight. So by the time we get ready to eat these tomorrow, they'll be thawed. Not a big deal. There we go. And I'm just going to get all the air out of the bag, and I like to just kind of mush everything around and make sure the meat is just fully covered and coated in the marinade, and that's it. I'm going to pop this in the fridge, and then first thing in the morning when I get up, I'll flip it over just to make sure it marinates evenly on both sides. All right, now it is time to get to work on the chicken marinade, chicken souvlaki. So I do have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. We're grilling these. I'm not gonna trim the fat off. Usually on the grill, it really just melts away. So I'm gonna leave that like it is. For the marinade, we need salt, dill, garlic, lemon, olive oil. It calls for white wine vinegar, which I don't have, but I have this rice vinegar, and it's a Japanese vinegar, but it's vinegary, and it's mild, and it's got a hint of sweetness to it. I think my family will actually like this better. My husband's super picky about vinegars and vinaigrettes and things like that, so I'm going to go with this. I debated balsamic because I do have some balsamic, but I'm going to just go with this. And then lastly, some Italian seasoning. The recipe, does it call for that? No, it calls for oregano, but I don't have any oregano. I have Italian seasoning, so that's what we're using. All right, so we're going to start mixing everything together now. We'll start off with the oil. This one calls for a lot of oil like the one for the beef did, and I'm just not going to put that much in there because I don't feel like it needs that much. So I'll put a good amount. I think that's good. Then it calls for 3 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. Again, I'm using rice wine vinegar, and I'm probably going to go just shy of it because, like I said, my husband is a little picky about that stuff. There we go. Next is the juice of 2 lemons. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that because I'm using this stuff right here. That's probably good. Next, it calls for 6 cloves of garlic, which I'm not going to put in because I'm afraid it's going to burn on the grill. Sometimes I'll use my chopped garlic, but for now, because I already have this out, I'm just going to go with garlic powder. And I'm just going to get pretty heavy-handed with it, just like that. It's probably close to a tablespoon of garlic powder, and I'm not even going to feel bad about it. It's Greek food. Greek is heavy on the garlic. Next, it calls for 3 tablespoons of fresh dill, which I don't have, but I do have dried. Typically you'll want to like cut that about in half if you're using dried. So I'm going to shoot for between 1 and 2 tablespoons. Oh, I love dill. I love the way it smells. Oh my goodness. It's going to be so good. All right, next it calls for oregano, which like I said earlier, I don't have. It also calls for parsley, which I don't have either. I thought I had some dried parsley, but I guess I used it all. As for the oregano, it calls for, 2 teaspoons. I've got Italian seasoning, so I just put about that much Italian seasoning in there. And then, of course, salt and pepper. So I'll put a little bit of salt. I actually debated putting Worcestershire sauce in, or soy sauce in, but I decided not to. So salt and pepper. All right. So it smells really good. It doesn't smell like any marinade I've had before, so I'm super excited to try this. And of course, it'll kind of mix and mingle with the smoke on the grill. Now that I'm smelling of it though, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of this vinegar because I'm not getting a twang in the smell. Just a little bit more. What I did get was that pepper, and I'm trying real hard not to sneeze. All right, got that all mixed up, and we are going to add in this chicken. All right. Nope, I'm going to have to do this by hand. So what you want to do is make sure that if you're using thighs, that they're unfolded like this so that the marinade can get all around it and marinate all parts of the thigh. So I'm unfolding each one of them before placing them in. All right, chicken hands, time to wash up. All right, hands are clean. So now we want to go ahead and, I like to go ahead and get the air out before I mush it around to get the marinade everywhere. Some people don't do that, but that's just how I do it. And I'm just going to kind of massage the chicken like this, and the marinade will get all around it and in all the crevices, make it all delicious. And I'm just going to let this sit with the beef overnight, and I'll put it in like this, and just like the beef in the morning, I'll flip it over when I get up. And that way my husband can grill this tomorrow afternoon. We'll have like a late lunch, early dinner kind of situation. So I'll see you back tomorrow when we're making the dips and the sides to go with it. So I'm going to make 3 dips/sauces to go with our meal. The first is a garlic shawarma sauce. I'm looking for a specific sauce. This was close, but not it, but it was still good. There used to be a sauce we got from a local Greek restaurant that shut down, and I'm trying to mimic it, and I just haven't found the exact recipe, but this was nice and tasty. You start off with a couple of cloves of garlic, and you basically want to turn them into paste. I've seen Rachel Ray do this a million times, and she made it look so much easier than it is. So I just minced and minced and minced at this garlic until it was in tiny little pieces, and then I tried to like flatten my knife and scrape over it and mash it and turn it into a paste. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's not as easy as it looks. I did the best I could, and I think that was perfectly fine. It worked out okay in the end, so no big deal. Do your best. If you have another method, let me know. Maybe just some garlic paste from the store, because don't they sell that in a tube? And it's so much easier than what I'm doing here. But as you can see, I'm still working away, trying to get this stuff, into teeny tiny little pieces. I don't know. I don't normally mess with whole garlic. You guys know that. There I am trying to smush it and turn it into a paste, and I thought garlic was going to be softer. I just really, in my head, like when you chop it, it seems so much softer, and when you go to smash it and turn it into a paste, it is, lo and behold, not that soft. So just do your best. Anyway, we're just going to keep working at it, and then we're going to add this all into the bowl. Just fair warning, this is a very garlicky sauce, so if you are going to make this, I will link it down below. If you're going to make it, you might cut the garlic in half, because I found it overpowering. I mean, there was so much garlic, like so much garlic. So I took all that garlic paste and added it to a bowl, and then we're going to add in some mayonnaise and some Greek yogurt and some lemon juice. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's a beautiful sauce. It's so white and creamy, and I don't know, there's something about it, and the stark contrast to the grilled meats looked beautiful. But oh, the garlic. I would make it again, and I would cut it in half. But again, like I said, this is not exactly the sauce I was looking for. The place we used to go to, it was definitely a white, creamy garlic sauce, but it didn't have quite the dairy taste that this did. I think it was the yogurt, it brought something that wasn't in the original. So if you guys have any recipes for some kind of Greek white garlic sauce, please send them my way. This place closed down quite some time ago, and we have not found anywhere else that was like it, and I can't find a recipe, and oh man, we missed this sauce so much. It was so good. Like I said, if you guys know something, please send it my way and I will try it. But you just mix this all together and let it set in the fridge for a little while. I made this one first, so it had like a good hour or so to just hang out and let the flavors meld. And boy, did they. There was a lot of garlic. But that was an easy garlic shawarma sauce. And I mean, I'd make it again, but I'm going to try some other recipes. Next, on to the hummus. So I have a bunch of chickpeas that I cooked, and I put them in my food processor, and then I tossed in a huge clove of garlic. I mean, that was a massive clove of garlic. I probably could have done two, but one seemed like a lot. Then we're going to add in some tahini. Normally, when I do hummus, I don't have quite so many of these chickpeas, so I just do like 2 to 3 tablespoons of tahini. I did some extra because I definitely had extra chickpeas today. Once you do that, go ahead and sprinkle in some lemon juice, and we're also going to add in a little bit of salt and a lot of pepper. I like to go pretty heavy with the pepper. It just is a really good flavor. And of course, a little extra olive oil in there. And I like to add a little bit of the juice from the can of the chickpeas. I cook these in my pressure cooker, so I just added a little of that liquid in there and then pulverize it. That's really what you got to do. There it is. It's like whipped and fluffy, and it's a really nice dip. It's not ever going to be completely smooth because of the chickpeas, but it was nice and creamy and delicious. And this tastes, in my opinion, way better than the stuff from the store. So this is the last one. This is my favorite. It's called Babaganoush. I know it's a funny name. It's an eggplant dip. My husband grilled and roasted the eggplants on the grill for me, so I just put them in that dish and covered it and let them steam so they would come right out of the skins, which they did, and I placed them in my food processor. Then I added in a bunch of the tahini. Really, for one eggplant, I usually do 2 to 3 tablespoons, so I probably did about 5 tablespoons of tahini, a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper, and olive oil, and we're going to pulverize this as well. And it is whipped and fluffy and creamy and amazing. This is my favorite. I mean, I could eat this all day, every day. It's got a lot of garlic in it, so, you know, there's that. But it tastes so good. And there's my plate. Pita bread, saffron rice, the hummus, the babaganoush, the meats. It was really good. Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight we are going to make some air fryer tilapia. I've never made this before, but I like a quick and easy fish recipe, so we're going to give it a shot. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting some breadcrumbs out on this little saucer. I'm only doing 3 pieces of tilapia because my younger 2 kids won't eat it. It's just for myself, my husband, and my oldest. And I thawed this out, and I'm going to take it and put it on these paper towels to kind of dry it off just a little bit because it's like very, very wet. All right, so I'm going to have this hand for touching the raw fish, and the other one I'm going to use for condiments and stuff. So I'm going to start off by drizzling just a little bit of olive oil on here because we are air frying it and we want it to get crispy. We do need to make sure we have a little bit of oil somewhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and rub it on the outside of this tilapia. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and get the fish seasoned, and you can really use whatever you want. I have chosen to do a little bit of seasoned salt, some Kinder's The Blend, which is just salt, pepper, and garlic. And then I'm thinking about putting a little extra pepper on there because we do really like pepper. So I'm just going to kind of pat this down and make sure that the spices are in place. I'm just going to season the one side, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of dredge this in these breadcrumbs over here. This is our crispy coating. This is not going to be like, you know, batter fried fish or anything like that, but it's going to be a healthier alternative. It's going to bring some extra flavor and a little bit of crunch, and I think it's going to be really good. I also think I'm making a mess over here. All right, I've got the basket for my air fryer right here, and I'm just going to gently place the fish on there. Do be very gentle. We don't want to knock all the coating off, and we don't want the fish to break. And then I'm going to air fry this in my air fryer at 350 for probably about 8 minutes. My air fryer runs pretty hot. I may stop it before that. You know, well, my Ninja Foodie air fryer does not run nearly that hot, but my countertop one that looks kind of like a toaster oven, that one runs a little bit high. So you know your machine, you know what temperature is probably going to work out best for you. But for me, I'm going to say 350, 7-8 minutes, and it'll be done. All right, here is my son's plate. Like I said, we've got some roasted broccoli and some plain saffron rice. I think I've shown this before on my channel. It's just rice I cook with a little bit of saffron, garlic, and onion in it. It is fantastic. And then the fish, this is cooked all the way through. It's starting to get a little brown and everything around the edges. I mean, it could almost double as a fried piece of fish, but with way less calories and a lot more flavor. It's not dripping in oil, but that is what's for dinner. All right, here is my plate, and I like a little lemon. My husband does too, so I squeezed a little bit of lemon juice on top and just put the rest on the side. I'll probably squeeze it over my broccoli, but if you're looking for something to add to it, instead of like putting on some kind of fattening tartar sauce or something, a little lemon juice goes a long way. All right, friends, welcome to another night of dinner here at my house. We're gonna have air fryer chicken wings. I swear my people would have me cook this every single week if I was down for it. They love chicken wings. And you know what, truthfully, I don't mind, they're pretty easy. I just don't like the cost. So to go with it, I'm gonna do salad and I'm gonna do roasted potatoes. Now, I'm sure most of us have seen that popular TikTok roasted potato recipe video that is going around. A lot of people are making it. So I tried it. Turns out we don't like it. Just straight up do not like it. So I'm not even gonna share that with you because I considered it an utter fail. I'm gonna make this the way that I always make it. So I got mine's a combination of baby potatoes and fingerlings and some purples because, well, that's what it was. So I'm going to start off by putting some oil on the potatoes, and I'm also going to drizzle a little oil in the bottom of my baking dish. You do need to make sure you have plenty of oil for this recipe. And next, I'm going to go ahead and season these. You can use whatever seasoning your family likes. If you wanted to do ranch, that would be fine. Or if you have like one of those Kinder seasoning blends that you really enjoy, that's great. I always shake it up and do different stuff. So today we're going to do this Julio's all-purpose seasoning. This is like, I think it's a Texas thing. There's a place called Julio's and they make like salsa and chips. And then in some locations, they have like burrito places and stuff. Super good. Full of MSG, but really delicious. So I'm going to use this just because it is really good and fantastic on like chips and stuff. So I'm just going to generously sprinkle this on. Potatoes can take a bit of extra seasoning just because they are kind of bland. So I have pretty generously salted those, and now to it I'm going to add a little bit of extra onion and garlic powder. There is onion and garlic in that, but I always add just a little extra. There we go. And then we want to mix this really, really well and make sure that the seasoning is on the front and the back and the sides and everything on the potatoes. The oil gets all the way around. So mix it really, really well. Okay, so the key to amazing potatoes, I've got my oven preheating to 400 degrees. You can do 450. Sometimes I do 450, especially if they're bigger potatoes, but today I'm just gonna do 400. Like I said, you put some oil in the bottom of your casserole dish, and then you have to lay the potatoes cut side down. Absolutely have to. And that is gonna make for a delicious, crispy potato. It's so good and it's so simple. My family loves it when I do potatoes like this. I would do it way more often. It's just these little baby potatoes are kind of pricey for a potato, you know. All right, I did try to kind of keep the smaller potatoes more to the center. I didn't do it perfectly, but I did try. We'll just shift these guys around a little bit. There we go. The center obviously will cook faster, or slower, and the outside will cook faster. So if you have potatoes of varying sizes like I do, you might want to try that tip. Anyway, toss them in the oven, and like I said, 4 to 450, your pick. I will do 400 today, and I'm probably going to do it for like 30 to 40 minutes. Look, I let them go for a while. I do check them. So biggest deal is make sure that they're cooked all the way through, like fork tender. And of course, when you flip them over, there should be some color on the other side. If you have a metal pan, you're going to get really good coloring. I'm using a glass one today for convenience of being able to throw it in a dishwasher. So my laziness may not pay off with beautiful color, but they'll still taste good. All right, it is chicken wing time. I have 3 pounds of wings, which sounds like a lot, but it totally really isn't. But I guess the bones weigh a lot more than most people think, but 3 pounds of wings is not a ton. This will feed my family 1 meal. If I'm lucky, there may be a little bit of leftovers. I don't know, y'all don't judge. It's me, my husband, and 3 boys. You know how that goes. So I'm gonna start off by adding a little bit of oil of your choice. I like olive oil just because I don't like the flavor that like vegetable oil and stuff leaves. So I just go ahead and use olive oil. Probably around 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on how much chicken you have. It's an air fryer. We're not deep frying these, so we do need a little oil to get the skin nice and crispy. These are bone-in, skin-on, so that's important. All right, now it's gonna sound weird, but baking powder. This is the trick to getting beautifully crisp wings, whether you're doing them in your air fryer or in your oven. Either way, baking powder gives you that beautiful crispness that you're looking for. So just sprinkle some on and then mix it around, because you want to make sure that each wing has some baking powder on it, on the skin. All right, that's all mixed in. So now we're going to season. Again, this is like the potatoes. If you have a favorite seasoning that you love, if it's a Kinder seasoning or some sort of other spice blend, go for it. It's fine. For me, I'm going to start with some seasoned salt. And I'm going to mix that in. Kind of make sure it gets around on everybody. Just kind of season to your liking. If you like a lot of flavor, go ahead and be heavy with it. And if you like milder wings, don't worry about it. If you plan on saucing your wings, you don't actually have to season them with much more than salt and pepper. Or if you want a whole lot of flavor, go ahead and season them now. You guys know how I roll. It's some smoked paprika. I like that smoked flavor. I really like what it brings to the table. So we're going to go ahead and sprinkle some of that on. And again, we're going to mix that around. Everybody can get some. Yummy, yummy. All right, the last two ingredients are garlic powder and onion powder. And don't be too shy with these, because you do want that flavor. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this in, and that is it. That's all there is to it. We're gonna lay these, for me, on my air fryer rack. If you're doing them in your oven, if you can, like, get one of those cookie cooling racks and put them on there so the air can circulate all around them, and it really mimics an air fryer. You're going to get the same results. All right, so here is my little basket for my air fryer. I do use my countertop air fryer for this one just because I feel like I can fit more wings in to get a good cook that way, but use whichever one you have. You know, normally I will really push my Ninja Foodi because I love, love, love my Foodi. It is my absolute favorite kitchen appliance. I always have it linked below. It is just, for me, it's great. It does all the things. I don't own a crock pot anymore, which freed up some cabinet space for me because the Foodi does all of it. Now, I know a lot of people will tell you that you don't want your chicken touching, and if you can prevent that, that's great. But I don't have time to cook in multiple batches, and typically I don't. So I fit them all in like this, and I make sure and flip them halfway through the cooking time, and that way everybody gets cooked on all the sides. All right, friends, there is dinner tonight. I made some more of that homemade Caesar dressing. Oh my gosh, we love that so much. So good. And then there's the chicken wings. They are nice and crispy on the outside. They are tender and juicy on the inside and packed full of flavor. And check out the color on these potatoes. They are delicious. Some of them are purple potatoes. That's why they look a little bit darker than the other ones, or redder, I guess. But oh my gosh, they came out beautifully. I can't wait to eat them. Now, as you can see right there, I do not sauce my wings. I know a lot of people love to sauce their wings. If you're one of those people, that's fine. Go for it. My only suggestion is heat your sauce up on the stove with like 1 or 2 little pads of butter mixed in with it before you toss your wings in it. You'll get a better sauce. You'll get a better coat. If it's nice and warm with a little bit of butter, it'll coat the chicken better. I don't sauce mine just because I don't like the mess factor, having to touch it and get it all over your fingers. I do put some dips out. My son is really fond of Korean barbecue sauce, and I will put that out. I think my husband liked that one last time as well. So that's what I'll be serving. But again, if you like traditional buffalo or honey barbecue or something like that, heat the sauce up on the stove with 1 or 2 pads of butter before you toss the chicken in it, and it will be absolutely perfect. But for me, I like it nice and clean like this. There's dinner. All right, friends, that's going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope you all found some meal recipes that you want to try or some cooking motivation. And again, if you guys have recipes you want to share with me, I am always looking for something new and tasty and delicious to try. Thank you so much for being here and supporting my channel. Go ahead and smash the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye.